it's Katelyn, and I have a quick message for you today about resistance. And so often we are taught to live by society's rules and what's expected of us and what we should do and all these right or wrong things. And we suppress our own inner voice. And how often have you heard somebody saying, well, this is what I have to do, or this is what I should do, but you know they're suppressing their truth. And in my mind, I can feel when somebody is shrouded in fear and resistance. And it's sad to me when people aren't living by what their heart is telling them to do and what their inner truth is. And I think the shame of it, too, is that oftentimes people don't realize that they're not even being honest with themselves or bringing that truth to light. And it's not so much that there's a right or wrong way. I believe that all things work out for the best, and we always find our way through trial and error. But I would just encourage you, and this is a lesson I have to tell myself often too, to listen to that inner voice and to that inner truth, and to follow your heart. And even when it doesn't seem like something you should do or what's right or wrong, to speak up for what's really in your soul and what your soul is really telling you. And instead of looking at it as, what do I have to do? What do I should do? What's right? Oftentimes I think we use that as a justification to ourselves to not have to do what's maybe the more difficult path of speaking up for what we really believe in and for what's really the best fit for our life. And I believe that you can't ever go wrong with being honest with yourself and being honest with others, even if that doesn't always seem like the right path. But I think oftentimes the path of should do or have to do, we can tell ourselves that it's a hard path, but oftentimes I think that's the easy way out. And the harder way and the harder thing to do is to stand up for what our soul is really telling us. And I think only when we're living in that truth can we live up to our potential and to really live aligned with what's best for us and what's best for the people around us. And I think it's only when we're in that alignment that we can be the best people we can be. So even if we think there's a right way or I should do this, oftentimes that is, maybe what we think is the right way. But I think the real right way is to connect with what your soul is telling you. Where does your truth really lie? And to be honest with yourself about what you want, and to recognize that it doesn't have to look the way we think it's supposed to look. And it doesn't have to look the way we were taught that it has to look. And I think this goes for jobs, for relationships, for life purpose, for anything. I think the only way to really truly live in a connected, aligned way is to be connected to yourself and to what your soul really tells us. And sometimes it's very hard to connect to that and to put it out there to the world, because we oftentimes feel like we're going to disappoint people or we're going to let people down if we don't do what's expected of us or what we're taught that we should do. But I believe that we're really letting people down when we're not being honest about our truth, and we're not sharing our whole soul, and we're not living in a way that is connected to our own highest selves. And so I think that anytime there's an opportunity to really bring the truth of what your soul is saying out into the world, regardless of what you think other people might think or who you might disappoint, the only way to really live is to not disappoint yourself and to not suppress those inner feelings. And so I encourage us all, myself included, to shed the areas of resistance and of fear. First, to be able to recognize that, to recognize where we're using that should do and have to do as a form of resistance, as a form of fear of stepping into our truth. Then to shed that, and then to really live from our highest truth of what's best for us and what then brings us to what's best for everyone around us. And And that it's only in that state that we can raise our consciousness, that we can expand, and that we can raise the consciousness of the entire world. So be a rebel, shed that resistance, shed that fear, and live connected. And that will be the most amazing experience in this life that you can possibly have. That will be what brings you to your potential, to all the divine synchronicities of the world, and it brings the best to those around you. So live from that place and live connected.